Hey, it's Coach Latham, and today we're going to be reviewing for your SOL test, and we're going to do a quick review of graphing. Now, the first time you listen to this video, you should go ahead and have the volume up so you can hear my hints and clues and explanations along the way. But after that, turn the volume completely down, go back through to the beginning, and hit pause several times as you check to see that you can work out all the problems. The first thing that we want to talk about are the four cases of slope. Slope can be positive, negative, zero, or undefined. We want to try and match those four things with each of these graphs. Now, you always read a graph from left to right. So if the line is going up from left to right, that's going to make the slope positive, was the one I was trying to drag right down here. If the line is going down from left to right, then it's going to be negative. Take a look at those two, make sure they make sense to you. The other two that you have to keep straight is the difference between a zero slope, which is a horizontal line, and an undefined slope, which is a vertical line. So those are the four cases of slope. Here's the answers for you. And now if we have a positive slope, in which case this one is a positive slope, we need to figure out what the number is that represents it. So in this case, we take one step up and three steps over. So this line has a slope of 1/3. This line goes down and over as we read from left to right. It goes down 3 and over 1. So it's going to go down 3 over 1, which is going to give you a slope of -3. Here's an example of how you would calculate the slope if you were given 2 points on a line. You've got to find A, B, C, or D, which one correctly has the slope formula set up. The important part of the slope formula is that you subtract the y coordinates on the top, so it can be 2 minus 1 on the top and 7 minus -4 on the bottom. Taking a look at it, it's the very top one, 2 minus 1. Rise on top over 7 minus -4, run on the bottom. Here's another example for you to work out. You can find the slope of this by subtracting the y's on the top, 7 minus 2, and subtracting the x's on the bottom, -4 minus 1, and C is your answer. Sometimes you're given the equation of a line and you need to find the slope. If it's in slope-intercept form, then it's pretty easy. The slope is always the number that's in front of the x when it's in slope-intercept form. So in this case, the slope is 2. It's a little bit more difficult if the line is given to you in standard form because you're going to have to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. So this one's going to take a little bit of work to get y by itself. I have it worked out here for you. Subtracted 2x from each side. And then you're going to divide both sides by 5, and eventually you'll get to -2 divided by 5 is the slope, and so the answer is going to be C. The next thing we need to talk about are the intercepts of a line. The intercepts are simply where the line crosses the different axes. So the x-intercept is going to be where the line crosses the x-axis, which in this case is right here. The x-intercept is 4. The y-intercept is this point down here where it crosses the y-axis, which is -5. And I went ahead and figured out the slope again. As we read from left to right, we go up 5 over 4. So this is the two intercepts and the slope for the line that we're looking at on the graph. We'll do the exact same thing with this one. You'll want to find the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the slope. And so when we go to work it out, the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis, right there at -2. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. And the slope, to read from this point to that point, we go up 4 and over 2. Well, 4 divided by 2 just reduces to 2. Writing equations for lines and inequalities. Okay. So we have this line right here. We want to try and write the equation for it. The important things that we're going to have to figure out to do that is to find the slope and the y-intercept, because we're going to write it in this form, y equals mx plus b. Well, the y-intercept is pretty easy. The y-intercept's right here. It's 4. The slope, we go up 4 over 2. And again, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Once we know the slope and the y-intercept, we just write it in slope-intercept form. y equals 2x plus 4. We do the same thing for this line. We're going to write the equation for this line. And since we know the slope is down 2 over 3, the slope is negative 2/3, the y-intercept is 2. Once we know those two things, we can write the equation. It's y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. Now this one is a tricky one. We have a horizontal line. If you remember back to the very beginning, we said a horizontal line always has a slope of 0. So the slope is equal to 0. The y-intercept is 4. So if you were going to write it out the long way, you'd say y is equal to 0x plus 4. But 0x just kind of disappears. 0 times anything is nothing. So your final answer is y equals 4. Here's one that goes through the origin. And we'll figure this one out. The y-intercept is going to be 0. That's where it goes through the y-axis and the x-axis, but for us it goes through the y-axis at 0. The slope is up 3 over 2, so the slope is 3/2. That lets us write the equation y is equal to 3/2 x plus 0. We'll go ahead and drop the plus 0. We don't need to put that on the end, so it's just y equals 3/2 x. This is a very special case. We've already said that the slope of this line is going to be undefined. It has an undefined slope. We really can't say what y is equal to, but we can say that in every point on this line, x is equal to 4. So when you have a vertical line, that's the time that your equation starts with x equal instead of y equal. X is equal to 4 here. This is an inequality. We're going to write an inequality for the picture that's graphed below. We pretty much do it the exact same way as we did lines, except for this shading and whether the line is solid or broken is going to determine the symbol that goes in between. So we start this one the exact same way. We figure out the slope. The slope is up 5 over 4, so the slope is 5/4. We figure out the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 5. And since it's a dotted line and shaded down, we're going to use a less than for this one. So it's going to be y is less than 5/4 x plus 5. We do the next one the same way. The slope, we go down 5 over 4. Slope is negative 5/4. The y-intercept is 5 right there. The y-intercept is 5. And now we have a broken line shaded up. If you're shaded above the line, it's going to be greater than. So y is greater than negative 5/4 x plus 5. Now we have a solid line shaded down, but we're still going to do most of the work the exact same way. All right, the slope for this line is up 5 over 4, so the slope is 5/4. The y-intercept is 5. The 5 goes there, and it's a solid line, so it's equal and shaded down, so it's less than. So this is going to be y is less than or equal to 5/4 x plus 5. We do this one the same way. We figure out the equation of this line, but it's going to be a less than or equal to this time because it's a solid line shaded down. This was the line y equals 5, so it's going to be y is less than or equal to 5. Here's that special case again. This is the only one that's going to start with x equals something. In this case, the boundary line is right there at x equals 6, but we're shading to the right, and the x values get bigger as you go to the right. So this one is going to be x is greater than negative 6. Systems of equations is when you graph two equations on the same graph, like right here. And the important thing to find here is where do these two lines cross? Because that's going to be the solution to the system. In this case, these two lines cross at the point 2, 4. So we say 2, 4 is the solution to this system of equations. And this is a system of inequalities. We've got two inequalities graphed on the same graph. And while it looks pretty hectic, the important thing here is to know that the answer is going to be the area that is shaded twice. The only tricky thing on this is that we have a solid blue line, so that solid blue line is part of the area that's shaded twice. While we have a broken red line over here, that is not part of the area that is shaded twice. Other SOL questions you could have on graphing. Sometimes they'll ask you if a point is on a line or name all the points that lie on this line. What we simply do is we plug in 5 in place of X, we plug in 4 in place of Y, and we do that for all 4 of the answers to see which ones work out. B and C, you get the same thing on both sides of the equation, so B and C are on the line, A and D are not. Sometimes you'll be asked to find the equation of a parallel line. That'll be your key word here to know that two lines that are parallel have the same slope. So if we're looking for one that's parallel to y equals 2x, then we're looking for one that starts with y equals 2x. The only thing that's different here is that the y-intercept changes from 5 to 7. So the parallel line that goes through the y-intercept of 7 is y equals 2x plus 7. Sometimes you'll be asked to find the slope of, or the equation of a line that goes through 2 points. Okay, this one takes a little bit more work, but we start out by calculating the slope. We already know how to do it by the 2 points. We plug it into the slope formula, and we find that the slope is 5/3. Then we can pick either one of these 2 points and plug it in to y equals mx plus b. We'll put the 5 in place of y, the 0 in place of x. That leads us to find that b is equal to 5. Once you know the slope and the y-intercept, you know how to write the equation of the line. We'll save functions for our next review. As always, listen to it the first time, then go back through, turn the volume down, and see if you can get all the answers by yourself. This is a quick review for the SOL test. It doesn't cover everything we've learned about graphing, but this will help jog your memory as one of your final preps for the test. Study hard, good luck, and we'll see you on the next video.